first invitation of 2022 is... What is it? Hello, and welcome to the Weeder Life podcast. I'm your host, Erica Weederlight, and I am the CEO and founder of We the Light. I help humans who feel inadequate, broken, self-conscious, and shamed around their sexuality to reclaim their aliveness, their power, and to have a renewed relationship to pleasure while preparing themselves to feel hella confident to date others and themselves. AKA, I'm guiding people to live their #best lives. I have to give you a fair warning. I do unfortunately swear like a drunken sailor, so if you do have little ones by you, just be sure to pop in some earbuds. Alright friends, let's buckle up and let's rock it to this week's episode. Here we are. We're doing the damn thing. In a pure Erica form, we're going right off script with the first moment. I'm like, oh, that, you know me, I love to improv. This is a total fucking random sidebar, but we're starting the tail early. So I'm also an actor, and I've sharpened my skills over the years, just because I would get, people would be like, are you fucking kidding? But I was rancid because I would go to auditions and I wouldn't fucking read what was on the script. I would add shit and they're like, listen. That's funny as fuck. However, you're insulting the writer. Can you please read what's on the page? So after so many auditions of can you please stop, haha, we get it, you're funny, we got it, please read what's on the page. So I just, you can't take the girl, you can't take the girl out of comedy. I'm like, someone annihilate me. That is putrid. But this is pure Erica fashion that I'm like, all right, we have a script, we're going in. And I'm like, and no, we're not. We're throwing it all to the trash. But it actually is for a good reason, because I'm so cute. And when I first started recording this, I was thinking different things, and just in perfect New Beginnings fashion. And why I wanted to bring this to your attention is I just got so in my head, and I think I recorded this, or the beginning, 4 times. And I wanted to, as much as I wanted to tell you the story about me being a hilarious comedian, I was like, fuck, I guess this is kind of a lesson that I should share with you, is that, isn't it interesting, the pressure of new beginnings? And I do want to definitely highlight that today, is that it's so exciting. And I did write this out, so don't worry, we'll really get to it. But there's such, you feel the pulse, you feel the pulse when it's a birthday or a new year, or however you like to do rituals, if it's a new moon or if it's a new day, it doesn't matter, but you feel that energetic. I'm sure you feel that energy, right? That magic and that pulse, and it's ooh, I have a clean, fresh slate and I'm starting fresh. And I know the magic of that. And I'm pretty sure you also know the anxiety that's hidden under the surface and that we don't really talk about. It's really easy for us to be like, new year, new me. It's my birthday. I'm changing. We're really good at that narrative, which is fucking God bless. That's great. But we usually don't talk about the underbelly of the panic, the anxiety, the stress of new beginnings. You know what I mean? The depth of new. And it's the shame that comes up, if you wobble. And let's give the most fucking easiest example ever. Okay, 2020, whatever, I don't even know what year it is, help. But, whatever year it is, it's irrelevant. People have these resolutions, and then there's a lot of fucking shame when you wobble. Guess what? Being a human, you fucking wobble. We have a desire, we have a thing, and we fall off of that thing. That's normal. Our body is still getting used to holding that thing. Our brain is like, do I want that thing? And all the fears come up. It is truly par for the fucking course. Ooh, she's a golfer. But it's par for the course that you're gonna fall. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to normalize that conversation, because even today I'm like, all right, the first new episode of the new year, and this whole episode's about new beginnings, and I was excited, and I was like, hell yeah, what's this year gonna bring? I was jazzed, and then I also was like, ooh, I got a little panic in me, I got a little, and I saw the perfection come out, and it was almost not too overwhelming, but I felt the overwhelm of ha ha ha, new year, new me, it has to be perfect, everything has to be perfect. And so I want to, before we dive in, I want to normalize that we are going to wobble. I want to normalize that it's not going to be, the shit, you know what I mean? And that's also like the delusion. Wow, I'm really going ham. But that's the delusion a little bit of like resolutions, like I'm all about, we'll talk about this, like desires, goals, how you want to feel, like hail to the ebb, because we do need specificity. You know what I mean? We do need those specifics for us to move forward. Otherwise, and it's funny, last month I kind of, I kept with my, kept up with the podcast. I had some speaking engagements. I kept up with my phenomenal clients I have, but I wasn't like really pushing anything. But I also like didn't set any intentions, and I felt real fucking weird. Not that we have to be in hustle mode all the time, but I kind of was like, I'm just wobbly, and it doesn't mean like the goal has to be, get 5 new clients. No, the goal could have even just been like, I desire in this month to lead with more pleasure. I desire to lead with more compassion. It could be a more quote unquote spiritual desire, but I did not create any last month, and I felt weird. So it's that fine line of creating desires for yourself, intentions for yourself, but not shaming the shit out of yourself. Because here's the deal, like life is going to happen. And here it is. I'm like, where was my brain going? The underbelly of this stuff is that there's this like delusional thing that happens when the new year happens, or that it's like, this is set in stone, right? So it's like, what's the, resolutions, weight loss, money, like those can all be, sure, a great desire, but we know life hits. So my invitation for you, invitation number 1, here it is, coming to your inbox hot and ready to go. First invitation of 2022 is, what is it? Guys, I'm so tired. But here it is. Your first invitation of 2022 is have that, I like to say, desire versus resolution. It just feels. So have that desire, have that intention of what you want to create, what you want to bring in, because that's so important. However, have compassion that you're a fucking human being and crazy shit is happening in the world. So again, all of this work is so fucking fine-liney. You know what I mean? It's like, have that intention, have that desire, have that thing that you are working towards. And if life hits, if you're hit with grief, or, a death of a loved one, or just financial struggle, or what, being in a fucking global pandemic and we're just all wobbly, having the space to have compassion for yourself. So continuously moving this desire forward and carving out compassion, carving out time, carving out space to be a human. That sometimes you're going to fall, sometimes you're going to wobble. Can you build in a system that when you fall, because you will, because we always do, and not, it's all good. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying you're going to fall. Wow, we're going on stories already, but I remember in the depths of my, had a really bad relationship to food, and I was really viewing myself in a very toxic way. And I was, this was part of my disordered eating journey. And I remember someone said to me, and I was so pissed. And she was like, what you're doing is not sustainable. And I was like, it's so funny because it was true. First of all, it wasn't healthy, but I was like, you can go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? And she didn't mean it from a place. She meant like, this is not normal. Like, this is not sustainable. We're humans, sometimes. And I was furious. So please know that when I say that, I mean, we're all humans. We're all going to wobble. Does that mean I say 2 sheets to the wind of your desire? No, I want you to have that, desire for love or having a good life or whatever the fuck you want. I want that, or having a dream job, whatever. I want that on the front surface of your brain. But when life happens, and we've been seeing life lately, I want you to have a system that's built in, that's baked in, that can hold you when you fall and doesn't shame you when you fall. Isn't like, fuck you, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, get up, you suck. No. Like, is a space that is shame-free, is a space like, babe, of course you're going to fall. Of course, my love. And guess what? You didn't even fall. It's getting us ready. It's holding us. It's just a pause. It's just an ebb. And guess what, baby? We're going to hold you. We're going to love you. And then we're going to get you right back up. Like, I want that. I just want to normalize, talk about that space, because I know for me, I can feel the panic sometimes. Like I said, with even recording this fucking podcast, like the new beginning thing, like I'm like, it's so much, like it's too much to like be perfect. And that's the thing with resolutions. It's like too much to be perfect and to be on, and I'm going to lose that way and I'm going to do that. And again, there's no shade in those things, but can we add, let's take the weight loss thing, because it's just clearly, even if, you are someone that has dieted or it's just like fucking up in our face just because how the world works, in advertising and new year, new me. I mean, even in the coaching world, all the coaches, this is when they market. They're like, change your life, da, da, da. So everything about us changing is up right now. There's a space for that again, but is there a space for us to do that in a healthy lens? So again, here we go. Let's take weight loss. Instead of doing the weight loss journey through a place of shame and fear and fuck you, yeah, January 1, or, it doesn't even have to be January, but like this day I'm going to start and I'm going to look great, or even with money, let's take money. Like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to be the best I've ever been with money and I'm going to be great. Like if it comes from that lens, oh shit, that's not going to be sustainable. Also, that feels fucking horrible. So my invitation is, if you do have a resolution like that, can you add it with more love? So instead of it being like, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to look so fucking hot, like, whoa, scary, like, can it be, sure, that's a desire, but instead, like, can we change it to a more loving intention? So like, I desire to have a healthy relationship to food. I desire to move my body, because when I move my body, I feel sexy as fuck. I feel embodied. I can listen to my intuition more. Okay, let's take the money example. Instead of you feeling like you're a piece of shit because you're in debt, no. Like, I want to have a really delicious relationship to money. I want to learn money, like, both spiritually and energetically, and I also want to have a relationship to money, like, in the practical. Like, I want to have a juicy relationship to money. I think you can hear like, and feel like option A, like the crunch of you're a piece of shit, to like the more freedom. I even feel the freedom in my heart. Like, like I can sit with this desire. I can play with this desire. I can have a relationship with this desire. So if you have a resolution or if you have a goal that is crunchy, this is invite time to uncrunch it. Because I love that you have desires. I love that I have desires and goals. But our brain is so cute and so sneaky. And it thinks if I shame the shit out of myself, and it works for a little bit. I'm sure many people could relate to this, but with food, like I was really, and dieting, shame, it's so upsetting to think about. But shame was such a good motivator, ... unhealthily, ... for a minute, and so but I just want to invite you to uncrunch anything that feels, ooh, I want this desire and I'm doing it crunchy. And I'm just going to be transparent. I even notice myself doing that with business, like the last few years have been great. And, ooh, I'm going to say this out loud, I really am up-leveling my business. And I have been up-leveling my business. I've been taking on great new clients. I've been speaking at all these places. I released a podcast. Things are happening. Things are happening every day. It's possible. Like, it's possible. It's happening slowly. But I am feeling the call to really show up in a bigger sense in my business leadership skills, like charging more and doing these, like that is happening. And I can see where the crunch is happening. So I can see where the contraction is happening. So part of me is so excited, like, holy shit, I'm stepping up into the CEO, like in this bigger sense, and and it's happening. And I feel that magic. I feel that electricity. And then also the underbelly she's out and about. It's big. And I feel that underbelly of the crunch of like, maybe, every day you should wake up at 4:30 and you really should do, 3 hours of social media and you really should get on 5 more podcasts. Like, it's like, whoa, so it's like, this shit is nuanced, and I feel the excitement and then I also feel the deep charge and the shame and the push coming through. So with all of that being said, let's look, maybe you're like, I don't even have a desire. I don't even know. Okay, well, first and foremost, let's think of what you want. Like let's look into and think of what you want. And then step 2 is let's uncrunch it. Like let's take out the crunchy crawlies. Let's take out the Fritos on top. Ooh, I love a Frito. But let's take out the Fritos on top. You know what I mean? Like, let's dispel some of the charge that's living there. I want you to get that desire, but don't you want to get it? And don't you want to live it and be it in a way that feels fucking good and juicy and you're like, oh yeah, this shit landed, opposed to like, I pushed and I shamed myself and I made myself so wrong and yay, I got it. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't feel good. Even if you got it, you're like, yay, next, because it's not like you had a good time on the path. So I want you to have a great time relating to this thing, being excited. Ooh, I'm so excited every day to get closer to this thing, even taking my business instead of like, you need to get 5 new clients. Like, I'm so fucking excited that I get to share this stuff with my podcast. I'm so excited I get to be, on the speaking, like getting, jazzed for being on the journey, opposed to like, this shit has to suck and then I'll get the thing and then I'll be happy. That's a bunch of bullshit. Because if the journey fucking sucked, you're not going to all of a sudden appreciate the destination. Then you're not going to all be like, oh, no, this is all part of it. So let's uncrunch. Let's take the Fritos off. You could, have a few Fritos if you want, crunch for yourself, but we're taking the Fritos off of the desire, off of the intention, off of the resolution, if you will. We're uncrunching them. And our new question to ourselves is, how can I relate to this thing? How can I I'm actually excited. How can I make this thing really fun? How can I relate to this thing in a really healthy way? How can I get closer to this? Even dating, take dating. People are like, I need to find my person. Oh God, I'm sweating. It feels so stressful. Okay, how can I find dating more fun? Or even if I'm in partnership, an intention is to have a better relationship. Instead of that feeling so contracted, I'm going to have so much pleasure in my relationship. I'm going to take courses that feel really fucking juicy and jazzed up. I think you get what I'm going with this. But let's look at what you're desiring. And have we added a shadow of crunch? We're going to uncrunch it. And we're going to re-relate to it differently. Cool? I'm so funny because we're, we're so many minutes in and we really went off topic here. But I was going to start the episode and I'm actually, now that we're running with it, I'm like, it is different. But I was hesitant to create this episode because I believe it's episode 1. We're talking about, different seasons and shedding, how I started the podcast. I was like, I needed to shed and release and make space to create this new thing. But this flavor is a little bit more different. If you want to hear a lot about shedding and seasons, definitely go to episode 1 and you can get, a deep dive on that. I also want to throw out a disclaimer. And I wanted to say this many times while I was bullshitting a few minutes ago, but I was like, hold on. Let's give disclaimer. We have a few disclaimers in this episode. This conversation is very nuanced. But disclaimer number 1 is hell yes. Just because how time dropped. Time drops apparently. But how time is right now, it is a new year. But this episode, if you are listening to this in real time and you're like, fuck yeah, new year, new me. I hate that, but you get what I'm saying. Like, yes. But it doesn't matter when you listen to this episode. It doesn't matter if you're listening to this for the new year, for your birthday, for a random rainy day Tuesday. It doesn't fucking matter. It's kind of irrelevant. Because every moment is a new opportunity. And we're really cute, we're really cute at being like, you know what, I'm going to wait to the new year. Or you know what, I'm going to wait to my birthday. You know what, I'm going to wait to the beginning of the month. And fine, but every moment is a new opportunity to change. Every new moment is an opportunity to choose differently. And there's, the tale that everyone's like, well, it's a bad day. I'm just going to let it be a bad day. I mean, if you want to be cranky, I support you in that mission, but we could change that shit around. You know what I mean? Like every moment is a new opportunity. So you could be having a bullshit day and you could say, you know what? I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to choose to see this differently. I'm going to choose, even though this is a fucking shit storm, I'm going to choose to show up differently. I'm going to choose to, relate to what's going on differently, whatever. So if you're listening to this new year, God bless. If you're not, even more God bless, because it's challenging us, lovingly challenging us to create newness when shit doesn't feel new. So those are, extra points for people that actually aren't listening to this, in January or, on a birthday or a new moon or something like that. People that listen to this in January, I still love you. But it's an exercise for us to choose again. That's the beauty in all of this work. So I kind of gave a little hint before we talk about the new and the shiny and the vision boards and oh my God, I'm showing up as my best self, which God bless, I'm already clapping for you. I'm already cheering for you. I'm pot beraying. I'm just psyched. we got to digest the old. We got to digest the old. And again, a lot of this is on episode 1. So I'll do a, little cliff notes. But even today, it's funny. And it's so funny. We don't want to, I don't know if you've ever felt this way, but it's like, we don't want tools that are supposed to empower us to be used as a weapon against us. Okay. And I myself am really genius, and I'm calling myself out, and I get good at changing it. In the past, I'll say, was really good at taking tools that are supposed to make me feel good and empowered and aligned and using them to shame myself and make myself wrong. This weekend, I love to do a New Year's. Like, I love, as you can tell, I love rituals. I'm dramatic as fuck. So I love to take time and frame and digest. And what am I going to create in the new year? And I'm very particular about my rituals. And okay, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But here's where my brain gets cute, is where I'm like, fuck, it's already like, I don't even know what day it is, but it's already January 3rd. I should have done this before. And oh my God, is that going to change? Like, I use this and I'm really clever. And I wonder if you do this too in some shape or form. Use it as a weapon against myself. That we have to be mindful of. And it's funny today, because it's just already January and I want, we just scroll mindlessly and I'm in the place of like, fuck, I'm still a little hazy because this weekend, I had a wonderful weekend and I did nothing what I usually do. I usually pull my tarot cards. I usually create my vision board, doing that fun thing, doing the vision board, all the things. And this weekend I felt the panic before going and doing my plans because I'm like, fuck, I'm not doing this thing. And I used ritual in a way to hurt myself. And today, like I said, because I scrolled on social media and you turn on the TV and it's like, go to Weight Watch. We feel it. We're seeing I'm changed, I'm new. And I feel the panic because I haven't properly digested yet. And this morning, before I was writing this episode, I opened my planner and, I was writing things in. I was like, oh, I have this, and this. And I felt the crunch because I was like, I am not ready to I'm writing out things for okay, I'm doing this podcast interview in February. I'm doing this. And I was like, ooh, my body feels like I still have so much to digest and process. And again, we don't want to use that as a weapon either. Like I need to process and process and process. There's a space and a time frame for that, but I do feel like I still need to digest. I still need to and move this shit through my body and frame and process. And then I could be like, okay, bitch, let's open that new planner, and again, this conversation is nuanced. We don't want to go on and on and on and on and on with processing, but some of it does need to happen. So let's talk about ways to digest. I'm going to throw some your way. And also I have a little list written up for you. So if you want it, I'm happy to send it to your inbox. That way you have this, I'm actually not really a great audio learner, which is funny because I have a fucking podcast, but I actually have a auditory processing learning disability. So it takes me a second to be like, wait, what? So I'm like, wait, hold on. So I actually need visual in front of me with audio. So if you ever need any assistance with that, I always have printouts. Here's tools, here's this. I'm happy to send it your way. That way, if you're like, I'm listening to the podcast and I also have something visual, I'm happy to serve you in that way because I know I need that. I need both happening at once. So I understand. So if you need that, please just reach out and I will send this to you. So let's talk about ways to digest. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how to digest all the fabulousness, all the shit, everything. The first one is journaling, journaling, talking it out with a friend, that's a great option too. If you're like, I don't really like to journal, can you talk to a friend that's really safe? And can you just process what the fuck happened? I'm saying this year, but again, take this and fit this into your situation. What happened up until this point? Wins, lessons, process it, anything that needs to be processed. I do a practice with my clients and with myself, breath work. And essentially, I'm not going to teach breath work here, but that's one of the tools I use with my clients is it's essentially moving this charge, moving the shit through your body and allowing you to process, digest, get out what you need to get out and really realign. That's a great tool. And again, if you want the beginner's 101, I'm happy to send that your way. I actually look at my phone from the last year. So again, if it's the new year, great. Even if it's a random Tuesday in March, and you're like, I want to process from here. What I do is I look through my phone and I look through the photos. So we'll take the new year because that's an easier example, or a birthday like from the year before. And I'm like, oh my God, I fucking forgot that happened. And it helps me frame and process, things that happened. Even like screenshots help too, because I'm like, oh my God, I was in that place and I needed that quote. Or, so I look through my phone and I process. I also look through old calendars, old planners, maybe old texts, like whatever I need, old, books that I read, all that stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I have an app of all the books that I read. I just process like all the shit, all the stuff that happened. I'm like, I forgot that happened this year. And like I said, the breathwork thing is huge, but I also dance and I move my body. Because here's the thing, our brain processes much quicker than the body, or usually that's the thing we process more. Well, I'm saying the exact same thing, but I'm saying more quickly, or how do I say this? Our culture, which is fine, but we place more emphasis on the brain and processing from there. Great. I'm glad we could do that. But our body, it's kind of like we're cut off from the head down, so it's like, I'm processing the new year. I'm processing. And it's like, great. I feel complete, but you still might feel crunchy. And that's because the body might be like, I still need to digest that fucking thing. I need to digest. So yes, journal, do all the things, whatever you need to do to like vomit it out, move it forward, and create space for the body, because we don't really do that, so even if it's breath work, even if it's moving, even if it's dancing to your, top hits from this year, or whatever, you just want to create space to let the body move and, move, shake, and allow it to process, flow through you. Does that sound cool? So we're going to move into some journal prompts, and the journal prompts are half going to be about digestion and letting go, and then the other half is going to be bringing in. So we're going to make our transition out of letting go, and we're going to talk about shifting into what we're moving in, if that sounds good. So you know the deal. You can get a journal. You could pause me. Again, if you need the visual, reach out and I'll send it to you. But let's talk about some journal prompts. And you could write this shit out. You could write it on your phone. You could talk it out loud. You could think about it. But let's get into it. So up until this point, if it's from last year, if it's from the last few months, it's from the last month, regardless, up until this point of recently, what am I grateful for? Then, what am I releasing? What am I leaving behind? What do I want to shed or leave at this point? And then I want you to take a free writing section of just processing, if it's a new year, if it's a new month, just process, writing maybe on the top of the page and just free writing, like your wins, or, oh my God, this fucking sucked. Just time to dump whatever needs to dump. This is the space. This is the place to just it all out. And I really want you to get good at knowing when you feel complete. If you still need more, keep going until you feel good. And when you do feel good, we'll shift into the new. So when you're ready, and I want you to feel into when you're ready, what am I stepping into? And what do I want to embody in this new chapter? What do I desire? And this is the big guns here. We're going with the big guns because I invite you. So I'm going to make you pause me here if you want. I'm going to invite you to pause me, I should say. I'm going to really have you go for it here. I want your goals of yes, I want to be my best self, and I want to have a healthy relationship to food and a healthy relationship to money and have a great partnership. Yes. We want all. So when we're free riding our desires, I want you to go for that, right? Like those big chunky monkey guys. Yes. And I invite you to be a little greedy, for the quote unquote silly, frivolous things. Because so often we think, oh, that's silly, that's frivolous. I just need to focus on my big goals. Hell yeah, write those big goals out. Hell yeah, we're going to get closer to them. But can we be a little frivolous? So that desire list, I want you to have it in a place that you could see frequently. Or I've, suggested in many episodes, I actually keep it in a note section of my phone. And I just keep adding to it. And it feels naughty when I add things that are frivolous, and I'm like, ooh, what's that about? It's interesting, right? That it's we're only worthy of these big things where we change and we're better. But it's going to the Amalfi Coast and eating a croissant, I'm making shit up, but it feels like, oh, that feels naughty. So I invite you, yes, write the big guys out. Yes, write the things that you've always wanted, but can we write like the silly things too? And knowing like, oh, I am worthy of these little frivolous quote unquote pleasures. So let's like have that conversation going and open. Okay. Next question is, how do I want to feel in the new year? Meaning new year, new chapter, new month, new day. How do I want to feel moving forward? What do I want to accomplish? And here's the good one. Who do I want to be? Right? Like, who the fuck do I want to be? And you could write this, but I also want you to like envision this. If you like close your eyes and in your mind's eye, you see like the most badass version of you. Like, who is that like badass, hot damn? And here's the thing. We have many different archetypes alive and well with us, but who, when you close your eyes and you envision that like most baller, badass version of you, that's just hot damn. Like, who is that person? How do they show up? How do they talk? How do they speak? How do they conduct their business? Meaning not their business, but like their business, their friendships, their money, their life. Like, how do they fight for their pleasure? Who the fuck is that person? Like, who is that person? I want you to get crystal clear on who that person is. And how can you start showing up as them? How can you start to have a relationship with them? How can you start to coexist with them and make magic with them? Does that sound good? Cool. And that's a big part of my work, finding these versions of ourselves. And, I work a lot, all of this stuff. I work and I do this with my clients, but especially the archetype piece, we tap. And I actually was just reading a text from a client, and she was saying like, thank you so much for getting me and helping me get into all these different archetypes, especially, like the goddess, when I guess to help me feel pleasure, and then more of like a warrior to help me speak my truth. And so, I do all of this stuff that I talk about in the podcast, I do with my clients, like it's, that kind of goes without saying, but especially this archetype work of, it's one thing to say like, I want this, but it's a whole other thing to be like, I'm going to show up as this, because it's so fucking fun and juicy when you get the shit you want, it's like, yeah, bitch, but it's so rewarding when I hate using the word change, but it's so much more rewarding, not only getting the thing, but seeing yourself evolve and show up differently and show up as the version of you that your little kid version would be proud of. So yeah, is it fucking amazing getting, this high paying job and getting amazing fucking partner? Oh my God, shit, it feels so good. You know what I mean? Like, fuck yes. And I want that for everyone. Of course, that's, my part of my job is helping my clients get the desires and have them. And yes. But seeing who they become on the way, goddamn, there's nothing like it. And then it's funny because they're like, I want this. And we're really focused on who they're becoming, who they're showing up as. And then the thing comes and they're like, yeah, it's cool, but I'm just so fucking proud of myself. Like I'm so proud of how I've evolved and how I've showed up and how I relate to people and how I've transformed. And that is the fucking magic. And that's such a gift of desires too. This is a tangent, but desires are so fun, right? Because it's like, it's juicy and it's informative of who we are, and we get to receive and be in pleasure, and it's all yum, 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 yum. But actually a beautiful part of desires is they're such little like naughty nuggets, like they're like, first of all, they're like, we want you to have fun, like we want you to have play, like they're really cute at like giving us more play and fun in our lives. But why they're actually really good and why they're naughty little, loving gremlins aggressive, but you get what I'm saying. Like they're cute little like tee is they're actually really inviting us to become the best version of ourselves, or to become a more aligned version of ourselves. Because to get that thing, usually we need to relate to it. We need to change our mindset around it. We need to know that we're worthy and deserving. We need to tap into our body, and we'll talk about this, but so often we want desires, but our body doesn't feel safe around it. So we have to rewire our body to feel safe around that desire. We have to rewire our mind. So not only are desires fucking amazing and fun, and we want them because we want them, and that is good enough, but they're just such cuties. They're just such cuties because they're like, yeah, you're going to get the thing, but you're going to change for the best and you're going to evolve into the most aligned version of you while on the journey of getting it. And that's why I love desires so much. So I know there's an impulse usually to like coast over them and be like, yeah, anyway. But no, there's such an invitation for us to rise. There's such an invitation for us to rise, to show up and re-relate totally differently. I love it. I'm so excited. That's actually I'm really proud of myself. I'm like, it's really good, Erica. And that's why, we don't quit on our desires. Again, it's easy to quit. It's easy to be like, anyway, I'm just going to go after the goal. But like, we quit on our desires because it feels frivolous or it feels too much. But it's like, we have to show up. If you have a goal or desire that's fucking big, you have to show up differently. You know what I mean? With a different mindset. You're showing up with inspired action steps. You are showing up differently. And that's why they're so cute, because it's just an invitation to rise. It's like, hey baby, you can get these things. You're gonna have so much fun, but who you are going to be in the process is fucking delicious. So don't sleep on desires. And speaking of desires, and speaking of this archetypes and all of these things that we're talking about, this is a huge component, like I talked about in my work. I got the text from one of my clients today about the goddess and the warrior and all of that. And it's just such a privilege. Like I said, seeing clients, I am flashing through all the text and all the things that they're like, I met my partner, or, I know what self-love is, or, whatever end journey. And I'm like, holy fuck, yes. But seeing them and watching them have aha moments and change is just the most rewarding thing on the planet. Because having them get the thing, like, I met the partner, I'm like, fuck yeah. It's such a joy. But watching them each session, watching them have aha moments, watching them change and transform, that's the fucking good. Like, they're both good, but that's the good. And so, this is my invitation to you. And I am going to change. I don't know how I'm going to change it, but I feel, how I am proposing on the podcast now is going to come to a close. So if you've listened to any episodes before, you know how I do. Every month, what I do is I want this work to be accessible to everyone, which is why I have the podcast, which is why I give out what do I do? I give out one free 60-minute session. That session is for someone who's genuinely thinking, I may want to work with you. I may want there's something, I don't know why, Erica, but I'm attracted to what you do. So those free sessions are available for people who are like, let's think about this. And in the session, we'll maybe talk about what came up here. We just boil all the things down. We do desires. We talk about, we basically do a mini session for whatever's needed in the moment. And then at the end of the call, we see if we're a match to work together. And it would be a fucking honor, a privilege to be your cheerleader, walk with you through this path. And if it's not, I'm still going to be your friend. I'm still cheering you on. I'm happy to suggest you to other people if you want that. Or if you're like, I'm not in the mood for a coach, no problem. I'll see you back on the pod. It's all good. But like I said, I open this. So what I do is every month I open up my calendar for a limited amount of spots, depending on what's going on that month. I open up a limited amount of spots. Usually, honestly, they go pretty quick. And then I close the calendar. And again, I don't know how long. I might do this for a while, but I'm feeling it's having an expiration date because I have so many clients. So I don't know how long this offer is going to last. And some months I may pull it, some months I may reinstall it. But if there's something in you that's like, I don't know why, I want to talk to this crazy lady that sings to me. And I want to potentially work with her, see what she even offers, get on the call, because this shit, it does really book fast. This morning I was like, oh shit, okay, January, we got some good stuff. So go to the website, www.wethelight.org, and it's all over the website. Like, book your free call. So go book your free call. Book your free call. Like I said, we do a mini session. We go in, we have a great time, and then we see if we're fit to work together. If not, God bless. If yes, God bless. Perfect. So now you know that. Now you know about that. Now you know. I know I was kind of throwing shade a little bit on resolutions, and it's okay. If you uncrunch it, if you unfrito that shit, okay, I'm a little bit cooler with resolutions, but I really love the idea of ritual. And last year framing, and I still haven't honestly framed and digested enough. I need to process some more, but even like gently looking back, I'm like, oh shit, I had so many good rituals last year. And it was so cool. Instead of having one thread line, like resolution, like every few months I did a different ritual and it changed me. It stretched me. Like we talked about with the, desire, it had me change and shake in different ways. And so I wanted to throw you some ritual ideas here. Again, you know the deal. If you're like, Erica, I need a printout, I got you. So I'm going to throw some ritual ideas your way. I want you to set an intention for this new chapter. It sounds very basic, but I want you to set a new intention. Maybe it's leading with love. Maybe it's feeling more pleasure. Maybe it's, focusing on your business. Maybe it's whatever. You get the deal. But I want you to actively, because so often we're like, I'm going to change this year. I'm going to change this month, or I'm going to change this week. And then it's okay, but we're like fish, just like, I'm imagining I wish you could see me, but I'm imagining a fish on its side, just like flitzing and flotsing, like that intention is so great because it gives us a focus. And when we wobble, it has something, it has us come back to something. So I want you to get really clear. I want you to get really specific on an intention. Something I like to do, and again, take any of these or leave them. If you're like, I fucking hate that, no problem. If you love it, take it. Something I do every year is I come up with a few words or themes that, again, help me. So I have my intention, but I also have words or themes that help me do that. So it's funny because I create a vision board every year, and vision boards are supposed to be visual, and that helps you get into the, feeling of it. And I have that, but I always have so many words because that also helps me remember oh yeah, I'm focusing on these things. So come up with a few words or themes. In the past, I've used, words like trust, embodiment, consistency, leading with love, surrender, pleasure. So find some words or a word that you really want to come back to time and time again through this period. Vision board, we could do a whole fucking podcast. We could do a whole class on vision boards. People do them differently. Mine is actually the size of honestly, an 8-year-old child. It's tremendous. But you could do that. You could do a Pinterest board. The idea is remembering what you want to work towards. And it's actually, when I think about it, really, really cool because all the vision boards I've done, mostly 90%, 95, I don't know math, 95, probably 95% of the things on the board usually come true. And if it doesn't come true that year, I get closer and closer and closer to it the other years. Or what's cool is I put these desires up and throughout the year or throughout the month, I'm like, that doesn't resonate anymore, which is great because then that desire can fall off and I can make space for something new. So again, if you're like, Erica, I have so many thoughts on vision boarding, help me. I'm happy to have that conversation with you. And again, I want to take a safety break. So let's make sure our seatbelts are buckled. Let's make sure, because this is a safety break in this conversation. So we could talk about, I fucking love vision boards. I'm actually making mine tonight. I'm so excited. I'm going to order some dinner. I'm going to watch Sex and the City. Last year, I have very fond memories of, last year I remember I was watching, I know I'm 25 years late to the game, but I was watching Game of Thrones. I was finishing it and watching it, this year's Sex and the City, and I make a whole ritual from it. I have a fabulous dinner. I'm just so excited. And I do my board, and I love vision boards. But again, here's the safety break. Is we could do all the boards. We could do all the hashtag manifesting. And I've talked about this before. But we need to feel safe in our body and in our brains to receive these things. So we can put all this fabulousness on a vision board, which I want you to. I want you to, okay, how do I get closer to this? Who do I have to become to get this thing? Fuck yes, fuck yes, fuck yes, fuck yes. And sometimes there's that underbelly. So we need to make sure that we feel safe to receive. And we're going to take some time to do a little practice on that. So I'm excited to share with you. And again, the deep stuff I do is with my clients, but I wanted to give you a little baby taste. So let's talk about safety real quick. I'm going to give you a little cliff notes and then we're going to jump into an exercise. Here's some things you can do at home, right? Mindset. Go to I'm not even going to get into it. Go to my mindset episode, because if our brain does not feel safe, it's not going to attract and bring in the things. So go to my mindset episode, take notes. If you have questions, I'm here for you. You're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked. But pleasure, we know pleasure is great for many reasons. First of all, it fucking feels good, but it helps us be more intuitive. It helps us be in our body. It helps us slow the fuck down. And instead of fear and panic leading, truth and alignment and love leads. It also, pleasure teaches us to receive. Because when you're on the defense, you're pushing shit away. But when you allow yourself to soften and to be in pleasure, you can receive. And here's the thing. You actually are opening up the capacity to receive more. Because if you feel, okay, I'm worthy of receiving this, I'm worthy of receiving this, you're opening up and you're opening up and you're opening up. And they feel safer and safer and safer. So safety, a way to feel safe in your body is there's many ways, but a simple way I can help you right now is to feel pleasure. And that could be sexual pleasure, that could be sensual pleasure, but that could also be I'm breathing and I'm enjoying, this podcast, or I'm really enjoying this delicious dim sum, or I'm enjoying, oh my God, this amazing hot chocolate, or instead of me, I'm really listening to this music, whatever. But the more that we have a relationship to pleasure, the more we open up to receive and feel safe. Even think about it in your body. Like if your body is on the defense, it's hard to even get a hug. Like it just feels like, ugh. But if we're breathing and we're allowing, think how your body opens. Your face may soften, your chest may open. Even think of all of your body. Like it just softens and it opens and it more receiving and safety. So pleasure. Remember pleasure. And again, I'm happy to talk to you about all the things pleasure if you want to deep dive there. Another way to find safety in your body is just checking in. So often we're just so disconnected from our body, or so in our head, we're so not present. So just the first invitation is just taking a deep breath, feeling how you feel in your body, feeling, the sensations that arise. Okay. What do I feel in my body right now? What do I need? What do I need to feel supported and safety? Sound good? So we're actually going to go into an exercise. Again, if you need to pause this, whatever you need to do, I know, you might be doing different things like walking or driving. So whatever you need to do to adjust, if I'm saying close your eyes, don't close your eyes if you can't. So, obviously if you're operating, heavy machinery, you adjust as needed. So I want you to start with your desire, or one of your desires. Let's not overwhelm your system. Let's start with one of your desires, like the one that feels really good. And this is a safe space, so we'll do a juicy one. So if you want to close your eyes, you're welcome to. If you don't, all good. You could write, you could lay down, whatever you need to do. But if you are in a safe space where you can close your eyes, I definitely invite you to do so. So I want you to close your eyes and see that desire in front of you. And I want you to visualize that desire and then notice how it feels in your body. So if I'm with that desire, I'm with that thing, what happens in your body? Are you in a state of yum yum? Or are you in a state of contraction? And if you're in a state of contraction, that's okay. I'm just curious. Let's just get curious, I should say. What does your body need to feel just a half an inch safer? Just a half an inch more nourished, taken care of, seen? Maybe you need to place, a hand over that area, or, squeeze, or whatever you need to do to make sure that the body feels really nourished and really safe. And again, you could pause me if you need some time. And actually, if it feels so overwhelming, or if it feels like, ooh, I didn't realize how much resistance, first of all, that's good. Because you're noticing, oh, I have some resistance around this desire. So this is some great information. If you don't have any resistance, great. That's great information too. But I actually want you to find an object. Maybe it's a blankie or something that makes you feel safe. Maybe so holding that. So as you visualize this desire, I also want you to have that safety. So it could even be hugging yourself, hugging a blanket. I want you to simultaneously breathe, first and foremost, but feel that desire in your energy field, feeling what that could feel like if you had it, and then hold on to that safety object, knowing I am safe. I am safe. Look, this blanket's got me. I got myself. I want you to feel simultaneously that desire with a sense of deep care and deep safety. Cool? Again, you could pause me and take however long you need to feel deep safety in the body. And then I want you to move on. So we could, if you still want to hold the safety object, you're welcome to. If you don't, that's okay. But we're going to move into the 5 senses. But if you had this desire, if this desire was part of your life, if it was done, completed, what would you smell? We're going to go through the 5 senses. And there's a reason for it. It helps the body feel safe. So what would you smell if you had this thing come to fruition? What would you taste? I know this stuff sounds weird, but I'm pushing you for a reason. Lovingly, gently, pushing you, loving you. What would you hear? So if you had this desire and it felt so fucking yummy and delicious, what would you hear? Great. What would you feel? And what would you see? And you know I'm going to ask this question. But when you see this desire, who's that version of you? Like, who is that version of you relating to that thing? Like, who is that? How do they show up? Who are they in relationship to their desire? And again, how can you start to show up as them? And maybe if you want to take a second, I actually want you to see that version of you. I want you to see the desire, know that it's safe, know that it's doable, know that you can hold it. But I also want you to see that version of you. Maybe, you could put me on pause, but maybe have a quick conversation with them and say like, hey, babe, I'm so proud of you. I want to know you more. How can I take steps to embody you, be in alignment with you more, like help? So I'm going to shut up for a minute. I'm going to have you put me on pause. And I want you to have that little conversation with that higher self version of you. What insight, what information, what wisdom do they have to share with you to help you rise, to feel good? Like, let's just pause for a moment. And again, I'm going to shut up. But what insight, what information do they have for you today? Great. And whatever you need to do, if you want to open your eyes, whatever you need to do, we have a little bit more to go, a little bit more good, juicy conversation to go. But whatever you need to come back to the room, to integrate, if you just want to hold yourself, if you want to drink a glass of water, whatever you need to do to come back. And again, deep shit may have come up, nothing may have come up. It's all good. It's all information. And if you do want to process anything that came up, you know where to reach me. Like I said, I told you to go to the website, but you're also welcome to hit up my Instagram and we could DM at WeTheLight_LLC. Let's have some conversations. I'm here to support you. The last piece, or one of the last pieces I want to address quickly is, in my belief, creation is both this energetic that we talked about, like feeling safe, having the mindset, like that's the piece, that's the energetic / spiritual piece, right? Like my brain, I'm getting my brain on board. I'm getting my mindset on board. I'm getting my body on board to feel safe around this thing. But it's also a mix, like I said, of inspired action. And inspired action, in my belief, is instead of just throwing fucking spaghetti against the wall and like we talked about before, like that, like I'm getting this desire, so I'm doing all of the fucking things like I talked about with my work example. I really want to up-level my business this year. Instead of me throwing fucking spaghetti on the wall and like, I'm going to do 15 podcast interviews a week and I'm going to, like, from a place of fear and like, I just need to get it. Like, the inspired action version of me kind of comes back to that higher version that we talked about, and I know her well. I know my business archetype really well. And I breathe in and I kind of have an intuitive conversation for myself. So I say, instead of throwing spaghetti against the wall and just doing everything out of panic and fear to get towards this desire, help, lead me, like what action steps can I take? What baby nuggets can I take to get me towards a thing? Not from a place of panic or fear, but from true, I just hit my microphone, but from true intuitive wisdom. So here's my question to you. Probably the last question of the day. We have a little bit more, but the last question. What are some ways? So first of all, how can you get good at taking a breath, leaning into your intuition, and taking action steps from there? So that's number one. Like we want to take those intuitive, inspired action steps. We want the action steps to happen, but from a more aligned place versus panic. So that's number one. Number two is, what are those juicy action steps? And it doesn't need to be, we don't need to go from 0 to 100. We don't need to try to get the goal today. We don't need to try to embody the desire today, but like what today, literally today, what's like one juicy step, one baby step, 1/2 inch that can get us closer to that goal today? 1/2 inch. And then every day, instead of it feeling like we have to do these big, tremendous things and it falls off, like every day, what's like a 1/2 inch getting me there? What's another inch? What's another inch? inspired action getting me towards that desire. I love this because we talked about this in the beginning. But A Course in Miracles, which is a metaphysical text that I really love. If you want to check it out, it's like this dense ass text, but like there's some real good nuggets in there. But definitely look up Marianne Williamson if you're in the mood for some like deep spiritual shit. She's I do her morning little meditations every day, and it's like the perfect dose. It's like I'm not overloaded. So definitely check out Marianne Williamson. She kind of interprets this text, and she really yum. But A Course in Miracles says, every new encounter is a chance for love to meet itself again. And I love that because we can replace encounter and replace that with moment. So let's say every new moment is a chance for love to meet itself again. So like we talked about, instead of being like, well, the day's bad, fuck it, I'm done. Like, okay, yeah, I had horrible shit happen and I want to turn it around. Like every new moment is a chance for love to come back again. Every new moment is for me to get closer to my desire. I've been so out of alignment the last few weeks, but guess what? I don't have to wait till a new moon to change it. Like I can right here, right now, I can kind of go inward and find that higher version of myself. And even though it feels hard, I can turn to that higher version of myself and I could start showing up as them, even though it's in a crunchy moment. So that is, again, my reminder to you. Yes, I'm obsessed with rituals. I'm obsessed with birthday rituals. I'm obsessed with new moons and full moons, and it feels fucking juicy and yum. It helps you process it. I guess yum is my new crunchy. We need to get merch. But that there is a space for ritual, and I don't want you to feel like you have to wait. So every new moment, every new opportunity is a chance. Every new encounter is a chance for love, is a chance for realignment, is a chance for leading your life through light and joy and pleasure and abundance versus hell. And of course, disclaimer, there's a space for hell. Not living in hell, but how can I have pain, rage, sadness, and keep coming back to alignment? I wobble, but how can I come back? How can I come back? How can I come back? How can I snap back? How can I snap back? How can I snap back? And that's my invitation to you. You don't need to wait. You don't need to wait till a big event. You can snap back literally fucking now, and you're going to wobble again. That's part of the process. I wobble every goddamn day, and it's hard, but I'm like, alrighty, come back, snap back to the best self of you. Snap back. And here's the thing, like getting the desire, being the highest self, so badass. But standing up, rising, beginning again after wobbling, oh shit, that's the most badass, that's the most brave thing you can do. So don't feel shame if you fall. You should be so fucking proud if you keep standing up. Keep standing up. And that, the standing up, the showing up for yourself, boom, it will of course get you the desire or something close to the desire, but holy shit, you will be so fucking proud of yourself. You will trust yourself. And I am just so excited for you to keep snapping back, for you to keep coming back to your desires and to your intentions. And no matter what you want to enter this, new chapter with, whatever desire it is, I'm fucking cheering you on. I'm so jazzed. I can't wait to hear about it. I love when people after the podcast, they tell me their updates. So like voice it, send me a DM, send me an email and say like, this is what I desire. Out yourself to me. I want to support you. I'm cheering you on. And let's just take a breath before we wrap and open ourselves to all the goodness that wants to come our way. I promise you, I pinky promise you, you're so worthy. You're so deserving of all of the fabulous things you desire. You're worthy. You're deserving of happiness, abundance, and so much fucking joy. And I'm going to tell you a little pro tip. You can't fuck it up. We all wobble. It's part of the process. You can't fuck it up. Just keep coming back. Just keep coming back to your desire. Just keep coming back to your higher self. I'm here. I'm on the sidelines. I'm cheering for you. I fucking see you. I'm proud of you when you rise. I'm proud of you when you wobble. I'm proud of you when you fall and you get the fuck back up. I'm so proud of you. So here's to us. Here's to you. Here's to it being so much fucking easier than we could ever imagine. Here's to us having so much damn fun. So much fun. So much fun on the road to getting our desires because, hey, like we talked about, it's not the point just to run and rush to the destination. I can't wait to see you at the destination, but I can't wait to watch you evolve and transform and grow on the actual journey because that's the juice. That's the good. I love you so fucking much. I'm so proud of you. Here's to you, baby boo. I love ya. Thank you, seriously thank you so much for joining me on today's episode and on this podcast journey. And if you loved what we talked about today and you know another human who could definitely benefit from what was discussed, I would so appreciate if you would go ahead and share this podcast with them. Don't forget, hit subscribe or follow so you never ever miss an episode. And the great news is you can always follow me, my work, my blog, my podcast on my website at www.wethelight.org. And hey, remember, life is so much brighter when we shine. I'll see you next time.